Hello everyone, welcome to our fourth video of 3D printing Iron Man Mark III armor series. Today we will glue all the parts together, sand them, paint them and weather them. As you can see, now I'm in the process of using cyanoacrylic, something like that, glue with an activator. Something I really don't like about this file, it's a Hex 3D file, you can get it on Hex 3D Patreon, is that a lot of the parts are unnecessarily cut, or to say it in the other way, there are no uncut files for some stuff. There are only some pre-cut files, such as this code piece, which was in many parts. And since I have 3D brick printers, what I don't like is gluing all of these parts together, because I will glue it, I don't know, few millimeters in this degree, few millimeters in other degree, and in the end the two halves won't really match without the how do I put it, without some extra strength to make them close to each other. Right now I'm in the process of testing some new techniques of sanding. Usually what I would do in the past is first spraying some filler primer to get some of it into the in between the layer lines, but what I was trying right now is first sanding it with 60 or 80 paper, I can't really remember, and then using the filler primer. I think it's actually working pretty well, maybe because I am getting the debris or some dust from the sanding in between these lines, and then I cover it with the filler primer, and then maybe it's filled more, I don't know, I can only guess, but somehow it felt, how they put it, easier to fill. As you can see now, I am using some electric sanders, which worked really well in this project. This is a mouse sander I picked up, I believe, a year ago, but I wasn't really having much luck with it. Not until after I started using 0.6 nozzle. Before it was melting a little bit fast to my liking, especially on low layer lines. I also took it down to 80 grit, because from what I've heard it creates less heat the lower the grit is, I believe. Yeah, there was a comment like that, I can't remember the science behind it, but it feels like it's true. Now I am in the process of, again, filling, sanding. Some of the clips in this video won't be in chronological order, because I tried to get all of these files into groups of gluing, sanding, filling and then painting. So it might be confusing at times, but it will all work out in the end. Now I'm in the process of getting the black primer onto my, I think, fully sanded at this point abs piece. I like to give it some 800 grit after doing the, oh, you can see some of the residue. I like to give it some 800 wet sand after giving it some black. Now I am using a silver chrome paint. As I said in my last videos, it's a process I like to do. It is a decorative paint, it is not at all automotive or anything like that. It's decorative paint that should not be used with any other paints, which is exact opposite of what I am doing right now. What I am doing is purposefully using another paint that I know will not bond well with this decorative paint, because then I can easily give some weathering, even with scratching of my fingernail or using some of sharp tips from a blade. I really like the effect it gives, because you can see it right now, because the, how do I say it, the difference in layers, the thing where you can see that the silver paint is actually below the red paint, the difference in gloss, in the sheen of it, really sells the look of that for me. Some people after weathering give it a clear coat, and it makes, oh, you can see it right now, the difference between gloss in the red and silver areas. So again, some people give it a clear coat at the end, but I don't really like it because it makes it all uniform and it kind of looks like a plastic. It honestly ruins the effect for me. I don't know, I just don't like it. Maybe if I knew how to make it work so it doesn't look so fake and glossy, I would use it more, but right now I am in the camp of not using the clear coat and keeping the original look of the paint as I intended to paint it. So now here we go back to the 800 grit wet, well, not now it's not wet sanding, but I wet sanded between the takes on the black primer, and then putting some of the more decorative chrome paint. The chrome paint, yeah, as I said, it doesn't really bond well at first, so here's the trick. Normally, when you're using the specific paints that should be used together, you can, well, it's usually written in the back of the can, but in about, you give it about 15 minutes in between the layers. Some took a bit longer, some took a bit shorter to spray them in between layers. Some say to leave it, I don't know, 12 hours, 24 hours after painting to let it bond together and everything. And what I saw happening with this combination of this decorative paint and this red paint is not after a day, not even after a week, it still is pretty not durable. You can still scratch it with your nails and stuff, but after weeks and weeks it finally bonds. And now that I have some of my armor parts that I printed last year, like the helmet or the chest piece, which I used with the exact same paints and exactly the same techniques, they won't lose any of the paint at all after the scratching. Now it's really bonded, so I think it just needs a bit more time, but it finally bonds. So it's nice for me because it's this armor, it's not wearable, it will be just standing in the corner after I finally put it on its two legs, and it will be just standing there menacingly. So that's how it will be for me. I've said this a few times, but I will say it again in case you are watching me for the first time. I purposefully bought a kind of not really wearable file. I just had this file from Hex3D, so I thought I will use it because why not? I wanted to print Iron Man armor to see how much hours approximately, how much material it will use approximately, to see how much of my time, of cost of the material, etc. it would take if I was to make an armor that would be wearable for myself. So thinking how I would probably have to reprint some parts 2 or 3 times, I am very happy that I first tried to give it a go with just 103% scale on everything. I think everything is scaled up to 103%. Some of the parts fit on me, like the thigh piece, like the some of the leg pieces. For example, I can't put the knee piece at all. I can squeeze my arm through the bicep piece and through a part of the forearm piece, but on the other hand I can't fit the helmet over my head because it is not cut. Actually, all of the parts are cut very well, or even too much, but the helmet isn't cut in a way that I can put magnets on it and put it over my head because the opening is too tight. What else? I wouldn't be able to put the chest piece on because I glued it all together. I didn't separate it to the front piece and the back piece. I don't know if I would fit in the ABS ABS piece, because again, it's also one part. Maybe if I had some opening on the back or something like that, but maybe even then it would be out of the proportion for me. So yeah, I am thinking about making a wearable armor in the future. Maybe some of the nanotech suits, because they seem to be fitting better, but I am not sure yet. This one it almost took me a year now, or maybe it's a bit over a year now, and I am still working on it. I am still waiting for the electronics to arrive. I am still thinking how in the hell will I put it on it to fit. I've been thinking on making some PCV pipe mannequin, but lots of them have something sticking out from between the legs, and it's not fun, or something sticking out in the backs to rest against a wall. I'm thinking of printing some adapters that would be screwable to each part of PCV pipe to make it removable, maybe so I would be able to make some hole in the shoes and give some threading under the shoes through the PCV pipe, and maybe put some weights on it so it would be standing on its own. It's still a work in progress in my head, so I'm not sure how will I go about it. And yeah, we are getting closer to the weathering portion, so as you can see, I masked it, kind of oh, what's going on? Yes, it's the weathering. So let's get to weathering now. I was talking way too much about all the unnecessary stuff without focusing about what's on the screen, sorry. Yes, weathering, as you... Oh, sorry about that. So yes, weathering. As usual, I diluted, I think is the word. I used some of the acrylic paint, I mixed some acrylic paint with the water and tried to get it in all of the weathering marks. I just love the effect of the paint staying in between the layers, between the silver and the red. Just this small portion of the paint that gathers on this change between the one and the other layer is something I really like. I don't know, I just like it. Of course, all of the usual getting it in all of the cracks, all of the holes, all of the oh, like here you can see imperfections that I left on the back because I was too lazy to sand it because it wouldn't be visible. Some of the parts, as you may have seen, were not really well sanded. Most of them are in the parts where the parts will intersect and they won't be visible. It was like that on the knee, for example, and in some of the other parts that come together, like the shoulder, you can see there also will be covered, so I didn't really bother with proper sanding in there. I think I might have overdone it actually, the weathering on this handpiece. I put it on my hand and started to rub it around the concrete floor to see how, where the paint would go away. So yeah, that would be about it. Soon you will see that the transition between the abs part and the chest part isn't the greatest because I ran out of my acrylic paint. But I will try to fix it between this and the next video. Also, I recently got an airbrush. I still don't have any paint for it, but I think I might try to get some of like burns marks or something like that. I'm not sure yet. I will experiment with it. So yeah, we are getting to the finish. I hope you enjoyed my talking. Yeah, so let's see you in a second after the sponsor part. I'd like to thank the sponsor of filament for this video, which is Polish manufacturer Rosa 3D. Recently they added ton of new materials and colors, such as PLA Plus Pro Speed, with its great resistance, allowing for ability to be grinded, milled, drilled, etc. Something that also might be of interest to you is PC plus PTFE. It seems incredible for technical use, and their new Flex filament has lots of great colors along with its properties. By the way, I was really impressed with mechanical properties of filament used in the last video. Along with using 0.6 nozzle, I used electrical standards with no real melting issues. I invite you to their social medias, and if you'd like to find a local distributor of this filament in your area, the link is in the description. Thanks. So thanks for listening. I'm still not used to speaking like from the top of my head in English, so I might have said something really stupid and not notice it. I will try to filter it out, but we will see. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike until there are still there for something. Again, the armor is from Hex3D Patreon, the link will be in the description. I really thank the sponsor of this, of the filament for this video, Rosa 3D. The link of the local distributors will be also in the description. I think that will be about it. I don't really get notifications when you comment here, but I will do my best to answer all of the questions. If you really have some specific questions, feel free to just DM me on the Instagram. I will reply there a lot faster than here because yeah, I don't get notifications. So thanks again, see you in the next video, hopefully as soon as possible. Thanks.